I love making fun Halloween recipes, everything from sweets to the very gory, realistic foods that you look at that and you're like, I don't want to eat it. I love making stuff like that. So what I'm doing is compiling for the next several weeks all of the stuff that I make for Halloween dinners, including night one. I'll explain that in a minute. And I'm gonna leave them all here for you guys. I will warning in front of a recipe if it's gonna be one of those more gory ones, but tonight's is just pure fun. Tonight's dinner is going to be Jack-O-Lantern quesadillas. They are very simple, very quick, and since they're jack-o'-lanterns and Jack is the pumpkin king, we're going to be watching Nightmare Before Christmas. I already made the dessert. I will show that to you, like the process, in a minute, but I'm giving you a preview because, oh my Lord, they are so cute. To go with tonight's Jack-O-Lantern quesadillas, we are watching Nightmare Before Christmas, so I'm making Sally and Jack cookies. So if you know anything about her outfit, it's all stitched together, and I'm drawing on these with black icing. And this is my white candy melts from covering just Oreos in bright white candy melts to make Jack. I'll show you him too. I'm at my sofa table because it's a process doing all of the cookies, but you literally draw the stitching where the colors meet. And then this is just sugar cookie dough that I've dyed 3 different colors, and then you ball it up together and it turns into this. So you just draw all the stitching on, and then you put crosses where the colors meet, just like that. For this to work though, it needs to be cookie icing, and it's black. I just get it from Walmart, like $3 for this whole thing, and I can use it almost all Halloween because you can reseal it, but I've got a lot more to go. And this is also what I'm gonna use to draw the faces on the Jack cookies in a little bit. These are the Oreos that are dipped in the bright white candy melts. My first attempt at Jack does not look like Jack. So this is gonna take me a little bit of work, but yeah, I'm attempting to turn these into Jack. Jack was difficult to get this narrowed down. Like that was the first one, second one, third, fourth. There's my fifth, which looked really good. And then 6 looks even better. Look at that. I can actually tell that's Jack with the Sally cookies. Like that is so cute. It would be my very last one that turns out so good. Like look at that. This is why I make extra of things, because the ones that turn out really, really good versus the ones at the beginning that I no. Look at him. You can use almost any size you want. I've done this with the smaller ones for the kids. These are upside down, are just the normal soft taco size. They also have the much bigger one. Those are a little harder to work with for me. I just don't like it. So I get the soft taco size. I will do some plain cheese for the kids, and then my husband's will get chicken, and Tristan's and myself, but I'll explain that in a minute. I get 2, and I make sure that they're going to match up with one another. Make a stem. So find the spot that looks like it's gonna work the best for that, and you're just gonna cut down. Leave it a pretty thick stem, and then you're gonna cut like a triangle, but still round it a little, like that. And if it's still not rounded enough, just cut the little tip. But you're gonna cut it and round it off so it still looks like the pumpkin.
Can I eat them?
And then you've got your stem. Now when you're cutting your jack-o'-lantern face, take the one from the back and flip it out so you remember that that's upside down. Then the face, cut whatever you want, just hold the tortilla in place. And then take your eyes and cut your eyes. And then whatever you want to do for the mouth, just stick to the knife.
Here's my piece like that.
And there's a tooth.
Another tooth.
And there's another tooth. And then find where it connects. And then if anything is still sticking, just cut it out as you go. And do whatever kind of jack-o'-lantern face you want. I put the back on it so you can see it. And I will always put the back onto the griddle first because the cheese is gonna start to come out this hole when you flip it over, and then you won't see the jack-o'-lantern. So you also kind of want to go smaller mouths, but this was just, you know, first round. I like to spray the griddle, a little bit of olive oil, bottom first. I'm doing 2 at a time. Then just any Mexican blend cheese will work. Push it as close to the edge as I can get it without it coming out. Put your faces back on, line them up, and I kind of like press.
Can I flip them over?
And then this one, line it up, press it down. These are coming along. If you want to put the chicken in them, the easiest way to do it is just some canned chicken breast. And then I will put it in a pan with taco seasoning of any kind and just cook it up real quick till it's warm, and then I'll put that in there with the cheese. You can also do some refried beans if you want to. I'm doing this as a dip. That way I don't see any of that dark color coming out the holes. Now you can see it melting really good. I'm gonna go ahead and try and flip them. Yeah, they're nice and toasty.
But that one has a little bump.
Nice and toasty.
This one has a little bump.
It's fine. And you can get these little crispies off if you want to really make sure the shape is seeable, but they taste really good, so. There's the first one.
Smoky, which is mine.
And the second one, but you see what it can do? So it starts to mess with the mouth. So the smaller the mouth, the easier it is to keep your shape. Tonight we're doing another Halloween dinner and movie, and this one is super, super easy to put together, but one we have every single year, and my kids look forward to it. And most of it you can buy pre-done at the store, so you don't have a lot of effort to put in. Like the dessert going with tonight's dinner, we're just doing this little box I found in Walmart. I think I've even seen it in Target. It's a brownie mix with a marshmallow cream, and it even shows you exactly how to swirl it in the pan. I have to go out and try and find one of my little plastic spiders to go on it. I don't know where they are. I'm gonna hopefully find one, but this, done according to the package, that's one dessert for tonight. I started discussing dessert first because I do have to bake that ahead of time because it is brownies and it will need to cool. The other thing I'm making is because I have to. It's Hotel Transylvania, Blobby, and you can easily use pre-done Jell-O if you can find the green one. Otherwise, you make Jell-O in little plastic cups so you can bend and maneuver the cup to pop him out. I'll show you later on these, but yes, I found these in Walmart. They're large cups, so he's gonna be a very big blobbert. And then some sprinkle eyes. That's literally all you need is the green Jell-O in the right shape and some eyes on it, and you've got Blobby. Easy. But I'll show you both of those as we go through. And then dinner for tonight, it doesn't get any easier, hold on. And I will make these so you can see exactly what to do, but it is super simple. We are making mummy dogs. It is literally the dog of any choice, crescent dough of any choice, the croissants, the rolls, however you want to do it, whatever store brand you want to use too, all works, and then something to draw the eyes on. It's that simple, and your kids are going to go nuts. Having gone through our entire dinner, the first thing I'm gonna do is mix this up according to the box directions, and I am going to use a square pan just so I get that perfect spider web. You can do it in a rectangle, but bake this according to package, and then when it comes time for this part, I'll do that on camera. You go in the middle.
It's like the brownie mix.
And then the tighter the curl, the more webbing you can get. It's taking that and just making a circle in the square pan. Now all we're gonna do is take a knife and we're gonna draw lines from the center outward. You might wanna hold the pan.
It's oily though.
Straight out. And then do like the far edge next, and do like the far parts and then come inward.
Now like?
Yeah, now kind of like cut the edges. Yeah, like that. The webbing looks great, or you could just wait and do it with icing afterwards if you just did a normal brownie mix and not this one. For one, it's cheaper, but you could just do this with white icing and it works the same. Bake this according to the box. What is mine? About a half an hour this has to go in the oven. Brownies have cooled completely. The web does look a lot better. And then I could just easily pop them out later with the parchment paper. For the mummies, you can make this as complicated as you want to. I've done it where you cut arms and legs and it's just not worth it. But I will make sure to buy the bun length hot dog of whichever one. These are just what the kids prefer. My husband actually prefers these, so we're gonna do these as well, but that's neither here nor there. When it comes to the crescent dough, I like to buy the one that's still cut in 8 because then it's 8 here, 8 here, and then I'll show you how I cut this for wrapping those. All 8 of them are separated out. I like to use a pizza cutter, and then I will cut each one of these into 3 or 4 strips, just making however size I really want to, because it's gonna get wrapped around each hot dog. And if you want more strips or less strips, that's the whole point. So like this one, I got 4, if that'll come off, to go on that mummy.
I got it, I got it.
What Brianna is doing, if she'll keep her hand straight, is you just got to leave a spot for the face.
Stop, don't show it yet. He's ugly.
And then you're just gonna wrap string by string in different directions around, but make sure you always leave a spot for the face. She figured it out. You stretch the little ones to make further strings. They're just not gonna be as fat of strings, and it works. There's the mummies, and they're gonna go in the oven. I think it's like all of 10 minutes, but I'll let you know. The mummies are done. They do have a paler color on top, so you do need to keep an eye on the bottom so they don't burn. This was 15 minutes in the oven. I couldn't remember how long, so that's why I had to guess. But then for the eyes, you could do mustard, ketchup, sesame seeds, the candies, which I don't recommend, but I just use normal mustard. And did you know that it will, hold on, did you know that your lid will click into place so it'll stay? I did that on a hacks video forever ago, but that's what I do for the eyes. We've added the spiders onto the web and I put it on a cutting board, and we will handle this at dessert time. But I will say this marshmallow cream actually feels like I'm poking a marshmallow. It's weird. My house now looks like Halloween dinner time, and this is the outfit that will match the Halloween clean and decorate that you would have just seen maybe a week before this video. So it all is starting to finally come together. All of my dinner videos are usually about 5 recipes, maybe 6 if I throw a dessert in there, but I try to make them pretty quick, like 20-25 minutes at most, so about 5 minutes per recipe. When it comes to all these different Halloween recipes, I want to jam as many of them as I can into this video, so I try to go through them very, very quickly if possible. Tonight's dinner I've done a million times, and I do have a recipe on this channel. It is the zombie meatloaf. You can make any meatloaf recipe you like. Mine that I like to do is literally 2 eggs, 2 pounds of meat, and then breadcrumbs, milk, seasonings. We'll do the eggs first in the bowl so they get mixed up. Breadcrumbs next. I do about 2 big handfuls. There's like almost next to nothing left in here, so I'm just gonna use it. About 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk. A few little squeezes of ketchup. Do what you wanna do. Any meatloaf recipe you like, but I will always do a 2-pound meatloaf when it comes to a family my size. Meat, and number 2, and then whatever seasonings I feel like doing. That's just the rest of the steak seasoning I had. This is just some of the blend. Out of parsley, so I'm not gonna put any of that, but I normally would. That's just garlic powder, onion powder, whatever you like. For the zombie, I like to have my pan, or well, any meatloaf, I like to have my pan ready, but I'm using a 13 by 9 when I'm doing the zombie. And as far as mixing your meatloaf, use your hands, it's the best thing for it. Just make sure you're clean and take off any jewelry. But mix this completely, but don't like over mix it and squish it. You don't wanna do that. My hand is still dirty from mixing this. That's why I like to have the pan ready to go, so I can literally just take it from the bowl, put it in there, and not have, you know, had to go clean my hands to go get the pan, all that. I'm still ready to go. Now, as far as the zombie goes, you want the face shape, going for the shape of a human head, and then pick where you think the mouth would be, make your divot that you're gonna have for the mouth, make your nose holes, and then just use your thumbs to figure out where you want your eyes. And if that looks good, you're ready to move on. A normal yellow onion is gonna be what you're using for the eyes and the teeth. So you wanna cut it in half where the roots and everything are like this, because you're going to need that middle. Normally it just falls right out. Today it's like, nope, you can't have your eyeball. There it is. We want that. We want that, and then cut this part off. And then wherever your eye holes are, you're gonna push it in like that. Of course, the second one came out stupid easy when I wasn't filming it to show you guys. Of course it did. So then this one, we're just gonna push in on that side. And now he's got eyes. For the teeth, you're gonna take the onion, you're gonna cut it into these little strips, and then you're gonna take these strips and you're going to cut them into little rectangles that would be teeth, and just shove them in the mouth on the top and the bottom until you think you've given him enough teeth. Eyes are done, teeth are done. Now we need skin. And by skin, I mean bacon. I do not recommend thick cut. You do thick cut, you're gonna run into some problems. All right, that looks like a good, nice face shape. Is like skin falling off situation. I tend to put a piece like right across where his nose would be, down his cheek, across his chin. You can wrap the entire face if you want to. I have done that. But for the most part, I go around the face, and then if there's a spot like this one where it's gonna overlap too much, I'll cut it off. And then I will continue to put it on the zombie. But see, I did not cover his whole face. I left it like this. There's the zombie before. Stick this in your oven, 375, 400, whichever one, for about 40 minutes. Then we're gonna cover it in a little bit of a glaze, and then it's gonna go back in for another 20 minutes. It takes about an hour for him to bake. And that's what you want. It looks like peeling rotted flesh. I've done a bunch of different glazes, but the most simple one is just straight ketchup brushed on really thin, because if you leave it in thick spots, it's going to look more red and cartoony than you really want. But cover everything except the teeth. Try and clear out the nose holes too while you're at it. He has been very lightly glazed. Back in for another 15 to 20 minutes, however long it takes him to get to at least 170, about 170 degrees. The zombie is done. I checked his temperature, that's why he's leaking from his face right there, but I used the nose holes so there wouldn't be extra holes in the face. But there he is. I'll show you once he's actually on the cutting board. And there's the zombie. He's got skin peeling off in a lot of places. Looks nice and charred, still has all of his teeth. Looks really, really good. Now you just cut and serve like you would any normal meatloaf. Well, now we're down to just some eyes and a forehead, but we've already cut up for almost everybody. My husband still has to eat, and then just serve it with whatever you'd like. I'm getting ready for another Halloween dinner tonight, and this one can require zero cooking if you would like it to. So I'm gonna explain what I mean by all that. Tonight we're doing Halloweentown. If you remember anything about the movie, if you've seen it, Grandma Aggie's talking about how the leftover chicken would be better when it's back on the bone, and they turn a live chicken and then all of a sudden they turn it into little pieces of fried chicken. Well, we're having fried chicken. I'm not making fried chicken. I don't feel like doing that tonight. I'm going across the street to Publix. They're gonna fry the chicken for me. I am making mashed potatoes and broccoli, but if I didn't want to do that, they have sides you can also pick up in your grocery store. So you literally don't have to do anything. You can go pick up this dinner. You can get KFC in the bucket. It doesn't matter. It's just fried chicken, whatever sides you want. And then there's other parts. In one of the first few minutes of the movie, there's a little girl, her name's Sophie. She wants a chocolate chip cookie that her mom made. Her mom tells her no cookies before dinner, shoves one of the cookies in her mouth, the whole 9 yards, chocolate chip cookies. I've got the little refrigerated ones in my oven right now because I still want like a fresh baked cookie, but you can buy chocolate chip cookies from the store, the bakery, however you want to do it, and you don't have to cook those either. I kind of semi-made those, but those are still gonna work as our cookies for the movie. The other fun part that we're gonna go with it is the movie has a big giant jack-o'-lantern as the centerpiece for Halloweentown. My kids love when I make the jack-o'-lantern floats, and it's just the cup where you draw the face on it, put vanilla ice cream in it with orange soda. It's that simple. I will show you everything once it's done because it's really fast and easy. But like I said, this one could be done with absolutely no cooking if you didn't want to. Everything is just grab and go.
Cookies are made, and the only thing I'm gonna do is put them on this cute pumpkin platter. Let's go ahead and avoid any copyright claims because I'm going to show the movie, but I don't want anybody to be able to hear it. That way we don't get any issues. But there was the cookies and the dinner and everything, so you can see it. And when it came to the jack-o'-lantern cups, I did try to draw the face of the jack-o'-lantern in the actual movie. It was pretty close to it. I'll give myself a little credit on that, but I had one where I screwed up really bad, so the cup had two faces on it. Now, the next night, my house was way too noisy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what it is. It is monster sliders. They are so cute. You can do these with little chicken parmesan sandwiches. You can do these with an actual just chicken sandwich, any kind of beef you want. I just like these normal little beef sliders. You put a pound of ground beef in a 13x9, season it however you want, flatten it out completely, bake it at 350 for 20 minutes. Put some cheese on it if you would like. We do about 3/4 of them with cheese, and yes, I have to do 2 pans. And we do leave a blank section for Declan specific. Put it back in your oven for another 5 minutes. Cut up Hawaiian rolls, serve it on them just like that. And these are some of the most delicious and easy sliders that you'll ever have. Top them with whatever burger toppings you like. Now, in order to turn these cute little things into monsters, that's where you need to come up with a little bit of stuff. Like, you know the stacker pickles, the little flat ones? That's what you're going to use for the tongue. You can skip the tongue, but it does help for the visual effect of the monster. And like Gwen, she loves it, but she pulls the pickle off and doesn't actually eat that part. And then some kind of sliced cheese, particularly white, that would be the best one here. And you're going to cut it into little teeth shapes, put that on top of the tongue, put the lid on, and then for the eyes, you can use sliced little black olives. You can use the green olives that still have the pit inside of them, but put them on toothpicks, stick them in the top of these things, and it just makes the most adorable little monsters. And I've done these in so many different ways over the years, but my kids do always request the monster sliders. Whether they're chicken, beef, doesn't matter. They want to see these little guys each and every Halloween. It is just so cute. Look at him there with his tongue sticking out like that.
Tonight's Halloween dinner, I have done so many different ways. The first time I ever did it, it was so creepy. I had people that would not eat it because it looked a little too close to realistic for them. And I didn't think that was actually true. I just thought it was really cute. But we're going to make eye meatballs or meat eyeballs. Eyeball pasta is what I affectionately call it because I don't think either one of the other ones sounds right. But to get it to be white like an eyeball, we use ground chicken. I've done it with ground turkey. It kind of had the same effect. I've done these with ground beef and melted cheese over the top of them. And then use the black olive like we're going to do for the eye. I've done that. And that also works super, super well. So if you don't want to do like ground chicken and you just want to do a normal meatball, you can always melt a slice of either mozzarella or provolone on top of it when it's done cooking. Stick one of these on and it looks just like an eyeball, ready to go. Serve it in some sauce, you know, for what we're insinuating the red sauce would be. And there you go. Serve it up. We did meatball subs that way last year. Tonight, we're just doing good old spaghetti with it, but I'll show you what they look like. First thing you wanna do is whatever chicken meatball recipe you wanna follow, I will put one in the description box down below, and that's what I'm gonna do is mix this up, start the oven because it bakes them at 400 for about 25 minutes, and then I'm gonna get this mixed up, shaped up, and then we'll catch back up.
The dogs are going nuts, so I apologize, but black olives that are sliced.
Zoomies!
Like, I'm not kidding when I say the dogs are going nuts.
Oh, now he called.
Oh, now you stop.
He's like,
So we have all the meatballs done and prepped. Now what you're gonna do, Connor, because he's got the dirty hands still, you're gonna take your knuckle and you're gonna make a little divot where you're gonna stick the little piece of the olive. You're gonna stick it in there and maneuver the ball around it. Kind of like that, and do it to all of them. There's what the eyeballs look like. You just want to make sure the olive is in like a little divot, not just kind of sitting on top, because it will fall off. This kind of lets the chicken cook around it to somewhat hold it in place. 400 for about 25-30 minutes. Pasta sauce heating up back here. Noodles almost ready to drain up here. And then I have eyeballs back over here. Now, like I said, if you don't fully wedge it in, they kind of pop out. That one's kind of popping out. But you see how some of these are like perfectly sunk in? That's just like, it's perfect for like a weird little eyeball. Hot. Now I've taken these at this point from the oven and I've put them in a pan full of sauce that was already heating up, and then just like let these sit in it. But sometimes it gets the sauce up over the eyeball part, and I did not want to do that. So I'm going to serve these like this with the pasta sauce below it. I'll show you. There is one of the kids. That way you can see exactly what it looks like over the pasta with the sauce and everything. I think they're just so cute. Another very noisy night in my house. So this one is just going to be a shepherd's pie, the very quick and easy version. You can do a more elaborate one if you want to, but this is the fastest and easiest one, and my kids like this the best. You're just gonna brown up some ground beef however you want to, season it however you like. You can even do some onion in there, and then a can of corn that's been drained, put that on top, make some mashed potatoes, save some of your mashed potatoes. That is a very important step with what we're going to do to turn this Halloween. Save some mashed potatoes, but smooth them out over the top, and put some cheese on. I would prefer cheddar cheese. I forgot to buy any, but I did have some shredded Colby Jack mixture, which is still an orangey color, so that worked just fine. But here's my extra mashed potatoes. I did have too many extra. I didn't need to save quite as much, but just remember to save some. Then bake this in your oven for 25 to 30 minutes, and when it comes out, you're going to put those extra mashed potatoes into a Ziploc baggie, a piping bag, whatever you have, and you're going to pipe a spiderweb shape onto the top of the dinner. Now, I should have thinned my mashed potatoes a little bit more. It would have made drawing this a lot easier, but I forgot to do that. That's why you see me struggling here. But most years I don't have trouble with this because I remember to thin it out. If you don't want to do a spider web, you can also do cute little fat ghost and put little sesame seeds for their eyes, little black sesame seeds. They turn out so cute as well. But either way, it is a very fast, easy dinner, and then you can just turn it Halloween in such a cute way, and the kids love it and they go nuts for this one every time. On to the final dinner that I'm going to include in the Halloween video, because I've been making shorts and reels for some of them, so I'll just continue to do that for the remainder of October. Tonight's dinner, we are going to do skull pan pizzas. Now, this is one of the things I want to add. This pan is not cheap unless you can find a really good sell. I started with this one. It is not near as deep. The faces, though, show up really well still and works pretty good. So I started here, but I've eventually built up to here because this pan took me a while to find it on a sale where I was finally willing to spend the money. But just saying, there are multiple options. You don't have to go here, and they now have silicone options too. You can make these as basic or as crazy as you want, and you can use any pizza dough. I'm gonna use the classic crust for this just because it's easiest to maneuver. And set your oven to whatever it says. Okay, I've got my big cutting board out because I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. Unroll it. And then I want to get 6 rectangles and hopefully not pop your dough. But you can always just squish it back together. Now you can do this with a rolling pin. You can do it with your hands. Just try and spread it out some. Pizza cutter. I will go long ways. And then you want to cut this part into 6. Even more, once you get them cut, you're still gonna pull this. That's why I buy the classic, not the thin. I will spray down my pan, but you're gonna set your dough and you're gonna start to push it down into there. Go gently though, because you can pop the face, and if you pop the face down there, it's going to leak. Down in the holes. Any pizza sauce you like, and any cheese you like. I'm using the Tillamook because that's what was on sale at Publix. Kind of like to, because I want that pull when you open these things, I want them to look kind of grotesque. So I put some of the cheese in first, then the sauce on top of the cheese. If I stop hitting my camera. Ooh, see, that one's gonna be messy, but that's my fault. I will put more cheese over the top. You could put pepperoni, sausage, bacon, anything you like on a pizza you could put in here. I've done supreme pizza pockets, but whatever you like on a pizza, you can shove in here. Kids like cheddar, so we're gonna throw some cheddar in here. Careful, because you're gonna pull it, and make sure you pull all of it. And then you're gonna start pinching it together. And make sure you get all parts of the dough sealed up like a little pocket. And the dough will spread while it's cooking, so it's still fine to have this little gap right here. It will seal up. The most important thing is you get this sealed, because if you don't get that sealed, it's going to explode everywhere. Not gonna lie, I'm a tad bit concerned about those two, but my thing says to pre-bake the dough and then to bake the dough, so you don't get to pre-bake these. So I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna say about 12 to 15 minutes, but I'll let you know. I made some skulls in here too. That way you can see the difference in the thinner pan versus that really deep pan. And also, this is not pizza dough, this is crescent dough, so we can see how different that works too, which is why there's 2 missing, because crescent dough is smaller than pizza dough. Mine took about like 17 minutes, but as I feared, this one is ruptured right here and right here in the center. This one started to, but the rest of them are pretty good. And then you can see the face like that. There's what he looks like. Ooh, if he'll stop sliding away. There's what that main pan looks like. I'll get another one, so we'll see if this little chin thing goes away. Looks so much better. And he's not, like, he's almost broken right there, but otherwise he's not broken anywhere. Look at him, he looks so good. Crescent dough ones came out. These took about 14 minutes and they went down to $3.75 for these. But hold on, let me see if I can pop one so you can see it. Don't burn yourself. Okay, and then that's what that face tends to look like. Okay. That's the best part, is how gross they look when they split. That's the last one for this video, but like I said, I keep putting more of them in Reels and TikToks and Shorts and stuff, so you're not gonna miss any else between here and Halloween. I just wanna go ahead and get you guys started, because a lot of these are the ones that I work up to more of the crazy ones, and you'll see what I mean between now and Halloween day. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one, go have dinner with my family. Thank you guys so much. I really hope you enjoy these. Got a few ideas to do some really fun things with some food this time of year. I also have some fun whimsical Christmas stuff, but we'll get to that later. Right now, we are sticking strictly to Halloween. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here more than you know. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy Halloween.